All right. Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to this small session. I'm Siddharth Mehta and I have Rahul Reddy sir with me. What we thought of is that yesterday CLAT came out with the sample question paper on three sections. So, we thought to address the students' queries. There were a lot of queries around what we can expect in the paper, and considering the sample paper that CLAT has released, how should students prepare in the coming days. So we thought of having a small interaction. Rahul sir is with me. Welcome, Rahul sir.
Thank you,
So,
Siddharth.
sir,
And just to add, they have released the
yeah.
quant paper just a few minutes before.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's again two sets, simple percentages and ratios, and very easy to solve. I think some of our kids just solved both in 10 minutes.
Great.
And GK
That
still
is
due.
good because that is something that the students are always apprehensive of what will be the quant section like. So good to see that at least in sample paper it is easy. Yeah, but sir, we lost you, I think. All right. Meanwhile, Rahul sir joins. I will continue with the discussion, guys. So you can post your queries. We will take it. Right. So see, what I believe about this sample paper is that it is just an illustration. They have clearly said that it is an illustration of the type of questions that CLAT wants to test students on, but they have also said that you cannot predict anything about the difficulty level, the format, and the type of questions that may come. So we cannot predict anything, but of course, good thing is that at least the sample paper tells us that whatever we have been preparing for CLAT so far, we are in line with what CLAT sample paper talks about. Okay, so what we are going to do is I can take the queries also for of the students. What I will try to do is we will look at each section, one section at a time, and the purpose is not to solve the paper here, right? So the purpose is just to have a look at the have a look at the sections, and then try to maybe see is there any clue that you can say take out from this sample paper. Okay, so just give me a second. I will try to share. Um,
Right. Yeah. Sorry, Siddharth. I'm back now. I think the small device related issue where both the
oh, okay, okay.
the webcam and the mic got disconnected at the same time. So yeah.
Right, sir. So I was just saying that we cannot predict anything much about what will be the difficulty level or the the pattern of the paper. But the good thing is that at least we know that what we have been preparing for last 6 months say the sample paper is in line with that.
Yes. Very quickly, if you have to connect to what happened last year, they gave a sample paper which was fairly hastily done, and it had very small passages with two questions, three questions. So then again, students started worrying, like, is this an indication? Like, will they have eight passages of small size, and so on and so forth? But then we finally saw that the actual CLAT paper had the normal regular sized passages with five or six questions kind of stuff, right? So in that sense, we should not read too much into the paper itself, right? And that's exactly what the disclaimer also says. So any discussion that we will do based on the idea that look, it's not a complete accurate picture, but there are a few insights that we can derive from this particular passage, from the questions and passages that have been given.
So
So for
this is
example,
the legal reasoning paper that I have shared on the screen. Right. So if you see in the note, they have clearly mentioned that you are not, it is not intended to predict, replicate, or guarantee. It doesn't guarantee the pattern of the actual CLAT examination. But still, I mean, if there is a sample paper, then we can understand that at least it will be passage based, if I'm not wrong. It should be the passage based legal section. What I have noticed, Rahul sir, in this legal section is that the most of the passages are related to some judgment or the other, which have been, in the news in the past 1 year or so.
Yes. So let's take a couple of things before we go into this. One,
Yeah.
broad insights that I can draw. One is, clearly this sample paper is much better made than last year's sample paper or the year before. And for example, this time they have given a detailed explanation, which they would never give before. Right? In actual CLAT, they never give detailed explanation. They would only give the answer key. Right? So in that sense, can we read something to it? I think it can be connected to the court cases that happened last year and the Supreme Court verdict, which was fairly scathing about the way the consortium is handling the paper. So very clearly, they are taking a little more effort into doing the paper. It could also mean that at the end of actual CLAT, they will not only give answer key, but they will give an explanatory answer also. I mean, this is not guaranteed again, but it is possible that if they're doing it for a sample paper, they could possibly do it for. Second, there are no mistakes in the paper, right? I mean, this was a consortium which made mistakes in the actual CLAT paper, but there are no mistakes in the sample paper. I have not solved the quant, but others have solved. There are no mistakes. Similarly, it seems to be drafted with reasonably clear language. There is no ambiguity, not just mistake. There's no ambiguity. There is no bad grammar, bad English, right? So again, all it says is a certain amount of effort has gone into this paper. Hopefully, it is a sign that the consortium is taking the paper making much more seriously, and therefore we could expect an error-free paper from CLAT. I think that is the expectation we could read from that. But you also see the paper is extremely easy. Some people said passage is a bit long, but actually if you solve it, it's very, very quick, right? And that could also happen because the answer choices have not been worked on. People not have put effort to make plausible sounding wrong answers. So in most of the questions, 3 choices can be eliminated very easily, right? Remember all that we taught you about elimination and how critical it can be. And that is something that you can test in this particular answer paper also, right? So that's broadly about this thing. So that you were talking about the legal, where the passages
We
were
will
taken.
Yeah. So can we move to the next page? I'm not able to take it. Yeah. Thanks. So the thing to notice, Rahul sir, is this article which has been taken from NDTV July 1st, 2025.
Hmm.
So very recent thing that has happened. And as you rightly said, the options in legal anyways, there is less chance of making the traps. It is more possible in English and logical reasoning. In the legal, it is very straightforward, right? Let us move to, we are not going to solve questions. Can we move quickly to the next page and see? Yeah, so this one was on AI. This one was again on the powers of the governor. So, second passage, which again is something which was in news throughout the year, I believe. There were a couple of instances in which this was in news. So, if we can see the source of this passage, if it is mentioned, yeah, once again, this is from the extracted in part from some judgment of Supreme Court, 2025.
Yeah, all of them are Supreme Court or High Court, and all of them are from 2025, which means we are dealing with what is called as contemporary legal issues that
Yeah.
are in debate right now. Second, none of them is very technical, right? Obviously, as a part of our mock series, we have tested you on some fairly technical legal topics. For example, Negotiable Instruments Act or easements or bailments and stuff like that. But that is just for abundant caution, just in case kind of stuff, right? Also, it's a fact that the students are so well prepared this year that if you give them a straightforward paper, they'll get 32 and 32. So in that reason, we pushed you a little bit just to toughen you up. But I don't expect they will go extremely technical. What they would like you to understand, not just the law, but the intent behind the law. So a lot of these passages talk about intent behind the law. For example, if you look at the governor's uh, powers, in terms of Article 200, the focus is not on the law, the focus is on the intent. How the constitution framers had faith that president and governor would behave appropriately and, in a timely, efficient manner. And unfortunately, that's not happening, and so on and so forth. So, and what effect it has on democracy and federalism. So they are looking at intent, they're looking at ethics. They're not purely looking at, okay, this is the law, is it legal, not legal, right? I think that is something that we can point out. I'm not to say again that that kind of questions will come, but that seems to be the intent. Not going into technicalities of law, but going into intent and what is fair and what is ethically correct and so on and so forth.
So something which we discussed in our RT NLU, sir, the LST legal principle, the basic principle on which any legal system is based. Also, there is a new pattern. I mean, not new pattern. Students must be familiar with that, but at least in the CLAT statement assertion, even in the legal section and the logical reasoning section, there are quite a few questions on statement and assertion.
Yes, yes, they
Any
are.
you will like students to work upon, or for the statement assertion, few tips, any tips that you like to share?
I think one is it's relatively new pattern, though we have given it, we have given handouts for it, topic tests for it. We have also given it in ALIT because it has come in past ALIT patterns. So nothing to worry about. It used to be the case that past CLAT had earlier CLATs had this kind of pattern also. In a way, it makes life simple for you. When a passage is given, you have to look for the legal principle within the passage. In this case, the principle is put right in front of you. So it's in a way making life easier. So don't over worry and say, look, this is a new pattern, I didn't have enough practice and so on. It is very simply making life easier for you, but you don't have to hunt the passage for the principle de diya directly. Okay, so don't worry about that particular aspect. Similarly, the reasoning part, so it actually tests critical reasoning, which is like a strengthening and weakening the argument, right? So when you say, is this reasoning appropriate for this assertion, you're basically saying, does it strengthen, weaken, or is it irrelevant? That's effectively what we're testing. And that is something, again, that we have, I'm sure you're ready, you've been tested, you've prepared in critical reasoning questions and LR, these kind of questions. You've solved them in IELTS mocks also. So, for example, in the end of the LR section, there have been small passage, one question type questions also given.
So can we move to LR, logical reasoning, if we can move to the logical reasoning section? So another thing about legal section, guys, is that I'm sure you must have noted that it has 30 questions, not 32 questions, and English and logical from 24, 25 each question, 25 each in the English and logical. So that might happen, but I think it will not matter much. Yeah, so this is logical reasoning. The first passage is on nighttime economy. If we can quickly move, if you see, there are three passages that they have given. Then there are three small critical reasoning questions, small passages. All the passages are of roughly 300 words in the logical reasoning section. I mean, the first three passages, 300 words. Then what I think the most noticeable thing apart from the 300 word passages, which usually is the norm, is the variety in the paper. So they have asked question on paradox, they have asked question on the flaw in the reasoning, inconsistency in the reasoning, evaluation of the argument, and of course the normal which we normally expect is strengthening, weakening the argument. There is one question on cause and effect relationship also. So good variety of questions in logical reasoning. In analytical reasoning, they have given 7 questions. So one caselet with 7 questions. I believe that it is just illustration. So I really doubt that there will be a 7 question passage, because that won't be fair. If somebody is not able to crack, then entire 7 question is gone. Plus, it also doesn't sound good in a 25 if they give 25 question section of logical. Rahul sir, anything that you want to point out
Right. I
specifically?
think let us not overthink about the number of questions part, whether about 5 or 6 or 7. I think what is important is they are giving you a wide range of possible questions. Right. So does it mean that analytical will definitely come in CLAT? No, it does not. Right. It is quite possible that the actual paper may not have any analytical reasoning, right? So what they're doing is making sure that, look, all these types of questions are possible, which again points out to the fact that this is a sample paper that has been made with some amount of thinking and effort, saying that, look, we are giving you different areas, please be prepared. So all these type of questions can come in logic, analytical also can come in logic, and therefore be prepared. It might be passage followed by 5 questions. It might also be individual small passage with 1 question. So they're giving you the full range, saying that any of these are possibilities. That, of course, possibility does not mean guarantee, and that which is very clear from the disclaimer also.
Right. Can we go to the English section? This had 5 passages, and that is a change. I mean, if we compare it with the last year CLAT, so this is a change. There were 4 passages, and this has 5. And also the length of the passages I will like to talk about. Passage 1 and 2 were nearly 300 words. Passage 3 was 400 words. Passage number 4 was 500 plus words. So that was the lengthiest of the passage that was given. And passage 4 again 400 words. Last year there was one very small passage of around 120 150 words in the English section. So that might be something that as a student, few might be worried about. That one thing, there are 5 passages, and the other thing is that you have to read a lot if I compare it with the length of the last year CLAT. But then if you read the passages are not very difficult. They are argumentative in nature. Most of the passages are argumentative in nature, with one or two main point that author is trying to draw throughout the passage. So such kind of passages at least are not very difficult. The difficult passages for me at least are the ones based on the literary or the fiction. There was nothing of that sort, very unlike the CLAT paper of the last 2 years. The questions, as Rahul sir has already pointed out, were very straightforward. All the passages have questions on vocab, at least one question on vocab. So yeah, Rahul sir, anything
Right. I
specifically in
think
this section?
it's good. Let's not worry about 4 versus 5. As I said, this is indicative. It does not necessarily mean 5 passages. But yes, 5 passages is a possibility. And again, I'm sure we have had mocks where we've given you 5 passages, right? So even when they've taken a book extract, they have taken a book which is non-fiction, right? So they're not getting into literary metaphors, right? So while vocab has been there, grammar is actually absent, and figures of speech are also absent, right? Now, does it mean they won't come? No, there's no guarantee that they won't come. But it is also a bit of an indication that, look, it is a test of effective language, effective communication, not literary English that is being tested, right? And this is something that you see world over. Whether you take a CAT or a LSAT or an LNAT or something, they are testing your ability to understand the language, to comprehend, not the style and stylistic elements. So which is why sometimes you get little odd that, is it really necessary to worry about metaphors, similes, onomatopoeia and other things, personification and so on, and to know what they mean. So again, there's no guarantee they won't come. But since a certain amount of effort has been put into the paper, I think their exclusion is deliberate. Again, this is a personal opinion, that their exclusion deliberate, and it would be in line with global standards if they say that, look, a lawyer need not be somebody who has a literary understanding, but he is very good at getting meaning out of words, and that is the kind of skill that they are getting tested. I think one thing we understand is, look, the range of questions. We are repeating this. It has happened in other logic section. It's happening in English section. Wide range of questions: direct fact-based questions, inference-based questions, all of the following true except kind of questions. Which of the following cannot be insert question? Vocab. Uh, this thing also logic-based questions. For example, the author assumes that. So there is an assumption-based question, right, which we normally expect to see in the LR section. It is there in the English section. Which of the following can be inferred? The inference part is also there in the this thing. So inference, assumption, logical consistency, all of them are there, along with vocab and tone also. So in the sense that do not look for clear-cut demarcations and say this is English, that is LR. A certain amount of LR seems to come into the English part also.
So there are few questions on the channel I can see, and the most expected one, and yeah, most of the students would be keen to know is that what is a good score in this sample paper. Obviously, it will not reflect. We are saying it doesn't reflect the CLAT, but it at least reflects the performance that a student might be willing to judge. So, sir, what are your views in each section? English section, 25 questions. What will you say as a good score?
No, I think we should be at 22. Otherwise, it's risky. It's a fairly
For the
straightforward paper.
top three, are we talking about top three?
Yes. So remember that
22
even
in
in a
English.
slightly, yeah. So
Okay.
I think 21, 22 hona chahiye because there's hardly anything that really pushes you. But yes, one or two
Hmm.
mistakes possible, especially in the vocab part. If you don't know the word, yes, these things can happen. But otherwise, I would say, yeah, 21, 22 would be a good score.
This
Basically,
is for
about
the
two
top
mistakes.
three.
Yeah,
I
about two
also
mistakes.
agree that at least 20 plus to hona chahiye, 21, 22. For the legal, again, very straightforward. So 25,
Very
26 kind
straightforward.
of.
At least. So probably three mistakes we can allow because some pressure, some mistakes that people make. So yeah, about three mistakes we can allow. It's about 26 kind of a score that we will look at. But again,
And
knowing the quality
logical.
of our students, some of them will, there will be good number of people who get 30 on 30 on this kind of paper.
Yeah, yeah. And logical.
Logical, again, no real push. So yeah, two mistakes we'll probably accept.
Hmm.
Right? Because
So
I think we've
all,
seen
I mean,
toppers,
at
we've seen
least.
myself, we make some amazing mistakes sometimes in a real exam scenario. So yeah, it happens.
Hmm.
Yes.
So combined three sections, 80 marks, 70 plus score at least for the top three.
Yes. I think that is something we should look at. I think
Yeah.
even the quant I have not solved, but I've got students telling me that it's very easy and like very direct kind of quant. Right? Again, don't overread too much into quant or any of the sections, but let us also understand that people at the consortium know that there are a lot of students who are giving CLAT who have not taken maths in 11th and 12th. And they also know that maths is a limited application in the legal field. I'm sure
Hmm.
you needed to calculate how much money you should bill your client, but otherwise, you don't need too much of math. So I think that part is also understood. So they're not going to push very hard on the maths front, right? So, and especially they're going to take an effort. There's going to be some thought into the exam. It's not going to be random. So basic arithmetic, ratios, percentages, etc., maybe averages, maybe time work, time spent, and distance, though it appears unlikely to me, or basic geometry mensuration, like simple formulas, area, volume of familiar objects. That kind of stuff is what we can expect in the quant side.
Right. So
Do you have any
then there is
questions?
another question wherein the students are asking that, sir, has the sample paper ever reflected the actual CLAT? So two things to it, difficulty level and the structure we cannot predict. But I feel as far as the type of questions or the variety of the question is concerned, I think you can get a fair bit of idea that this is what you may
Yeah.
be
In
expected.
fact, but again, I'll repeat what I said. Honestly, this is one of the best uh, sample papers ever. Not
Correct.
in terms of difficulty level, but in terms of their effort that has gone into it. They've actually given full length passages, they've given a range of passages, they've given all types of questions, they've given answer key and explanation, which they've never done before. So, and there are no ambiguities and errors. So, all put together, I think the biggest takeaway I will take from this sample paper is that look, consortium is serious. They're making efforts to give you a good error-free paper for you, which is good because remember, so many students suffered last year just because of the pressure of seeing a wrong questions, and there were a lot of wrong questions.
True. I think if I talk about the quality of the passages, particularly in English and logical, the quality is very good. The only thing is that maybe the type of questions or making options more close will make it slightly more difficult. And that part is missing, as you rightly pointed out, because if you see in logical also, or I believe even in English or legal, I don't know, I've seen in two section, the lengthiest option is the right answer. They have over explained the things, so they
Yes.
might have not put that much thought behind the options, but overall it is I think error free for me also. There was nothing ambiguous in the paper, so that is a good sign for the students. And the thing that I take out is more, it is more of a logical exam of your logic and reasoning, rather than any thing that you need to cram or wrote at this point in time.
Right. So very quickly, let me give some quick answers to some of the questions. Why Quant has been released today. So if you have not checked, you can download the particular paper right away. Very simple, two sets Quant paper. Second, GK will be released. Why so late? I don't know. Possibly because they have to put in the extra effort. So that's the reason why. But it is expected either today or tomorrow we should get the GK paper also. Second, just put CBD and avoid liability. No. If the question is determinable, then CBD cannot be the answer. Right? And you can't put CBD in every question just in case the question is wrong, kind of thing. That also doesn't make sense. Right? So, I mean, let's not worry too much about it. I don't think the consortium will take any risks now. They will double check, triple check before putting the actual CLAT paper. Nobody wants to be, at the held in contempt by Supreme Court, so they won't do it. No, don't look at topics and say this topic came in the sample paper, so this is relevant kind of stuff. Acha, you are saying topic which is come in sample paper will not come. That's very smart, right?
Yeah.
That, because they've already solved it, so exactly same thing may not come. Yeah, exact same topic may not come. That is true.
Right, sir. So we will close
Right.
it here.
What should you do if there's a discrepancy? Well, yes, we expect there won't be, but it's always possible. My only point is, look, have some faith in yourself. What happened last year to a lot of students is they kept on trying to solve the question, saying that the question can't be wrong. I might have made a mistake, so I'll do twice, thrice, 4 times. Don't do that. So please attempt it. And if it is not matching, check once more. After that, mark something or keep moving. Right? Don't waste too much time on a potential wrong answer. But you can't be 100% sure it's a wrong answer. So if you can eliminate and have a decent probability that it's a correct answer, mark it. If the question is cancelled anyway, you will not get negatives. But it may turn out to be the correct answer, so you get the positive. So don't leave it completely. I mean, if nothing makes sense, you will have to leave it. But it's possible to answer. What is very important, don't get stuck and waste too much time and let the next section get affected. That should not happen. The difficulty of marks in a sample paper is much easier than CL marks.
Yeah.
Right? My expectation for the actual CLAT paper, it will be slightly easier than the average CL mark. Slightly, 10%. Yes. See, I think broadly, since we have a few minutes, I think the one simple thing that we have to look at is, if you have a target score, try to look at what kind of target you need in each section. Right? Something like reading section, you need at least 60. Otherwise, you won't have a chance. GK, you need at least 20. And then maths, you need at least 6. These are your absolute deadlines. If you are, I'm talking about general category, aiming at the top 3 NLUs. Right? So for other NLUs and other categories, you can scale accordingly. But it's very important that you have a target. And if you're not meeting the target, look at which section you have a problem. Right? If your overall score is not going up, it could be math, it could be GK, it could be any one area which is causing an issue. Identify, fix that. We have given case-based questions because they came once. CLAT 2024 में आया था decision making वाला, right? I don't think we have given lots of decision making questions in the marks, but we have given. See, remember, it came once in actual CLAT, but we are giving 40 plus marks, so it must have come 5-6 times in the marks.
Right, sir. So we have to end this session. Students, if you have query, you can post it in the chat box, and the team will reply to your query, right? So thank you so much.
Thank you very much and best of luck to all of you. Stay calm, stay focused, and you have it. Okay, it's in control. Don't panic.